Back on the Nighthawk. Imagine that. So far it's still well in the lead for mileage. The tires on the 10 are nearing their end. I ordered a new set for it last week, actually 1 week ago, but I don't even think they've shipped yet according to the order status. I actually thought pretty hard about taking it out today instead, finishing the tires off. It would just be nice to have new ones on hand before I do that. And then I stepped out in the garage this morning and really thought pretty hard about taking the 400 also. Makes you want to ride it more when it's actually visible, not tucked away in your storage building. I'm guessing this will just be a temporary bridge for the rest of eternity. We just patch up infrastructure, we don't repair or replace anything. Getting hot already, and it's only going to get hotter. I tend to explore a little bit more on this bike. I've seen this road 100 times, but never been down it. That might be a nice little spot for fishing. I think when I get home, I may need to check the rear wheel bearings on this thing. I'm sure I've done it before. I don't know where the fuck I am. Speaking of exploring, I was sure I'd seen the Scott Road in more than one place, and this is probably why. I think this will take me back to another end of it that I don't want to be on. Whew. Pretty big sinkholes here. But yeah, I've replaced wheel bearings on bikes before. On my old ZX12, I did it when it didn't actually really need it. Woo-hoo! We are definitely on the farm, and my nose knows it. The old shithawk is living up to her name right now. But yeah, I've replaced some wheel bearings. Some of them were actually worn out, like on my KLX, but they were never worn out to the point where I could feel it when I was riding. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I can't actually feel it on this one either. Just under certain speeds, when I force the bike to weave back and forth and turn, I almost feel like a wheel bearing growl coming from the back. That's usually more like a car thing, right? I've been riding bikes for a long time, and I don't know if that is a thing on bikes. Yeah, like when I do that, I can kind of feel a roughness somewhere. And after all the work that I put into this bike, I still have never had the rear wheel off of it. I'm sure that's going to be next on the list. Rear wheel bearings. Probably a chain. I mean, I was absolutely floored when I realized I didn't need to put a chain on this yet. I thought the chain would just be seized into one solid piece when I pulled this thing out of the shed. I think I actually brought a grinder with me because I was prepared to cut it off to get the bike out of there. And it just turned out that it was in pretty good shape. I don't think it was very old when it was put in the storage. I think the chain had been replaced a short while before then, but still, I'm sure it shortened its lifespan. And then I've been putting all that off because I said the next time, or I guess the first time I take the rear wheel off, I'd like to pull the whole swing arm off just to clean it up and paint it. This is a beautiful area. But this time of year, man, the cows just choke you. There you go. Get around him. He's big, but he's not that big. Woo-woo. That's a big smell improvement already. Well, we're already over 100 kilometers in. Just pulling into Sussex now. We could carry on the Norton, but I think we'll take a little break here first. Maybe grab something to drink. And you've got to be spot on when you're shifting this thing. If you don't watch what you're doing, she's got a box full of neutrals for you. There's a lot of bumps and just general road defects that I hit with this thing now that would be absolutely frightening to hit before I fix the suspension. I'd be going a hell of a lot slower, mind you, but still. At anything more than a walking pace, it got out of hand pretty quick. Another construction zone. Oh, it just looks like some pipe replacements. Typically when I see that construction sign anywhere like this, I immediately think that they're getting rid of the somewhat okay pavement and putting in rotten chip seal. Usually come through here at 100 miles an hour on the 10. You don't really get a minute to look around. The closer we get to the water, the cooler the air gets. It's so strange to see cars tailing me, following me through roads like this. After years of riding large sport bikes, you're not really used to seeing that. It's not to say I'm going slow through this road, though. The guy behind me has been following me since I got on it, so I think he's seen a bike and said I'm going to chase him. This guy I caught up to, and I think he looked in his mirror and seen a bike and said I'm gonna run from him. Wow, now that I'm in town here, it is really cool. I'm sure it's well below 20 degrees right now. You can see that cold fog rolling in off the water. I bet going through the Fundy Trail today would be downright cold. Possibly even slightly wet if that fog is coming right inland. The new bridge. Let's see if she lasts like the old one did. That's some serious lumber in there. Wow, that looks cool. Geez, how many excavators they got working on this breakwater. A lot of gear. Buckets and tracks just rusting overtime out on the beach. keep forgetting how much longer rides like this take on this bike. Used to the 10 where you basically don't cruise at anything less than about 110. And then with this thing, I don't cruise at much more than 110. I think we're going to attempt to make it as far as we can towards home without stopping for fuel anymore. We're 80 kilometers in right now. There's got to be another 200 kilometers left in the tank. We'll see how it works out. Ooh, that cool air is long gone. We're right back up to 30 Celsius now. Hopefully we can find it again in Fundy. Must be the old culvert pipe they pulled out down here. I hope this road is open. I thought I seen a detour sign and some construction signs earlier. I was right, we're detouring. Hopefully the road is half decent. I seem to think that this road goes a long ways. It's not just a quick little detour. So far this detour road isn't terrible. It gets you a different view of the mountains than we usually see. Jeez, I think the main road through here is in worse shape than that detour road. Tracy just called to let me know what she's been up to. A part of our deck at home used to have a hot tub built into it. It's an addition onto the main deck that they built, put a hot tub in, and then tore it out for whatever reason. The space is something like 10 by 10 or somewhere around there. So Tracy found, I think it's an 8-foot diameter kiddie pool. One of those little inflatable ones. She's at home starting to set that up, so whenever our girl comes home from daycare today, she's going to be pretty wild about that. It's too bad I could have avoided coming right back into town if I only knew how much dirt road and what kind of shape the dirt road would be in. Because I could have taken one back there that would take me right across to where I need to be, but it's kind of a gamble. A little bit of shade to park in for a second. This road is almost unfamiliar to me now. I think the last time I came through here I said, I don't know why I never run this road the other direction. Well, here we are. I think this is the first time. Oh, gotta get around you. Seeing construction signs again. What's up here? Huh. That's a mess. The road is dirty as hell. Just imagine what they're doing up here. Another bridge or culvert getting replaced. Man, I bet washouts are a major problem along here. Especially with the rain we've been getting. Well, this is gross. Thankfully not very far. So far anyway. They've got it compacted pretty well. is probably still red, and that guy's just rolling through. That'd be why he hit the air horn. Yeah, it's still red. I can see it from here. All right. This was the section that made me want to run it in reverse. Not so much on this bike though. This bike really suffers with the uphill climbs. Construction zone ends. I think I should have another 100 kilometers before I see reserve. I think. That's just a guess. I've never actually tried with this. It also sucks that I used to ride so much before that I knew the distance between just about everywhere. I suppose it doesn't help that this is a fairly new route. You couldn't go this way just a few years ago. This was all dirt road. Not that it's much better right now, but... I think this is the first time I've ever seen my GoPro mount become questionable. It's just that hot out, I guess. It almost looked a little bit saggy earlier. I had to check it. The Dares with a big for sale sign on it. Shortly the road becomes not so fun again. We just kind of roll along, make our way into Fundy. Here's the other end of that road that would have went to dirt. I just don't know how far and how bad. Hell, I don't even know if it even does anymore. Bikes everywhere today. Old Wolf Lake. Pull over and power cycle the shitty old GoPro. There's the fog. Starting our descent into Alma. It should be nice and cool. We'll see just how cool and just how foggy. I've seen bright sunny days like this turn to like really cold wet ones coming through here. Look at that. It's like a low-hanging cloud over the whole town. They were in Sussex earlier. cold fast. Every foot of elevation change, you feel it. Not sweating anymore. Wow. That's pretty crazy. I'm sure it's 10 to 15 degrees difference from the top of the hill to here. There's no way it's even 20 degrees right now. The sun's doing its best to shine through here, but I actually hope it warms up a little bit more than this on the way home. I got all my vents open. This is a little too much. That sign back there says 92 kilometers to Moncton. Now it's really got me wondering, how far could I make it on a tank? I hate playing that game when fuel stops are pretty spread out. A bit warmer now. I'm sure the temperature's just going to be like a yo-yo for the next little while. Comes some more fog. It's weird, if you live along here, on really hot days you have a chance of not being hot at all. Well, that kind of sucks. I gave in and stopped for fuel. Home is about 66 kilometers, 70 probably by the time I get there. I had 200 showing on my trip meter, so pushing it to 270 I wasn't sure. But now I had 200 on it. I only put about 10 liters in it to fill it. That works out to 20 kilometers per liter. You know, there was definitely another 4 liters in there. I think this tank is, I don't know, 15 or 16 liters. One of these days I'll figure out what the fuel range is on a tank. I thought I was getting about 25 kilometers per liter, but that wasn't right either. It might only take like 8 liters to fill it, but not quite. Getting pictures from Tracy now of them playing in the pool. She's home from daycare. I gotta just try and make time and get home, check this out. So from here on out should be pretty uneventful. So I guess we'll call the end right here. I'm on my way to just shy of a 400 kilometer ride on this thing. That's a new record for her. There's islands out there. Once again, the shit you notice when you slow down a little bit. There's even a lighthouse. I've been through here 1,000 times and I'm still just a tourist. Anyway, I'll keep taking in the sights while still trying to make it home at a reasonable hour. You can come back and check out the next one.